Good evening, Hawks fans, and welcome back to the Atlanta Sports District. Thank you so much for being here with us. Once again, Russell's getting better. He's getting better, but it's going to be kind of a slow go. He's got some recovering to do. And once again, you've got the old man. So here we are. And we're coming to you directly after a 110-103 victory, thank goodness for that, over the Phoenix Suns. Now, as we look at this, we're going to talk about some things on offense. We're going to talk about some things on defense. Offensively, I think this needs to be said, and like I said, I talked about somebody getting the memo. Well, apparently the memo didn't get all the way the memo because running the offense through CJ is not working the way it should. We had too many turnovers. We had the bad process. The process is bad. You can't turn the ball over 21 times, have a bad process. We won tonight, but you won't do that. And we'll talk a little bit about why we were able to win tonight in spite of that fact here in just a minute. But you won't be able to do that when you have a bad process, you turn the ball over too much, and you play a lot of isolation ball where the ball's not going to get passed because it's in CJ's hands. And that's something that I thought we had gained from. And like I said, if he plays minutes and he comes in and he scores and he does it, he gets off the ball and doesn't try to take over too much and hog the ball, then that's fine. But if he plays and everything runs through him and Jalen goes and stands in a corner and just waits for him to do whatever it is he's going to do, that's just not going to work. That's the process problem I was talking about. That along with the turnovers. If you're going to lean into offense, which we do some. Last game, thank goodness, we leaned into size and defense, but we lean into some. If you're going to learn if you're going to lean into that offense, we can't have a bad process and we can't turn the ball over. Just a little bit of information. I say I'm the old man. Well, I'm going to tell you how old I am. I remember when the Phoenix Suns were really fun to watch. If you've never heard of Tom and Dick Van Arsdale, the Van Arsdale brothers, YouTube that and go look. They're fantastic players. They used to be really fun to watch. But they were in town tonight. As I said, we had some offensive things. We mediocre on offense. 110 points. That needs to be better. It's the process and it's the turnovers. And when you talk about the other side of the game, the defense, it was okay tonight. I mean, you get up 103 points, that's okay. But there's some bad defensive moments from some bad defensive lineups, and we continue to do that. I understand when you put a bad defender, a mediocre defender on the court, you have other players around them that can hide them and you can protect them and take care of them. But when you put more than one of those on the court at a time, it's not going to work. Tonight, particularly in the Kennard McCollum lineups, this was very bad on defense, and people would come and they would pick on them almost immediately. And there's no way to hide it when you've got two people out there. You can have the best defenders in the world and the other three, and they're not even going to be a part of it. They said the most important player when Deion Sanders was playing corner was the opposite side corner because they're not even going to go to his side. They're going to pick on the other guy. So if you've got three great defenders out there and two guys who can't defend, the three great defenders never even get a chance because they're going to be attacking the two guys who can't defend. Now, I also think we talked about our size last time. I think we need to start playing Jalen at the three some, and that means more minutes for Koloko and for Mo. And without Zach, now Zach's a very good defender, especially for a second-year player. As a rookie, it was just amazing. Most times rookies can't defend because of the college game, the pro game, and everything. But he was such a good defender last year. Very good defender this year. Also can score you the basket. So it's undisputed. Without him out there, like I said, if we're going to lean into our offense, we can't turn the ball over and we can't run it through CJ and have a bad process. If we're going to lean through our defense, we need to lean through defense and size like we did in our last game. When we do that, we do very well. But in order to do that, without Zach there especially, we're going to need to play Jalen at the threesome. I don't think he had a single minute at the three tonight, but we need to have that because it creates minutes for Koloko and for Mo and for Jalen. So you got three guys that are about 7 feet tall all on the court at the same time. Now, that's the way to lean into defense. And if we can't stop turning the ball over and we refuse to have a good process, then we're going to have to lean into defense to continue winning basketball games. There's one other thing I want to mention on defense, which is extremely, and I know I'm being hard on CJ tonight, and maybe I am a little bit. I mean, what we did was we traded away Trae Young, as I said, because we said, well, he's a ball-centric guard who has poor efficiency and doesn't play defense, and so McCollum is the same thing. We basically replaced Trae with somebody who's much worse than Trey at being Trey. And so that's have a hard time. And I said that to say this. CJ McCollum on the court in defensive only moments is completely unacceptable. It might even be a fireable offense. Like, for example, the end of the game. I'll just use that so you understand what I'm speaking about. It was, we're up by 5 with 36 seconds left. We go into a timeout. Now, at that point, we need to get stops. We need to keep them from scoring 6 points in the next 36 seconds. If we can do that, we win the game. So what we need is stops. We don't necessarily need somebody who can score a bunch of points or take a bunch of shots. We need stops. And coming out of the timeout, here comes CJ back in the game. And then that was not anywhere near our best defensive lineup. Even if we had 2 timeouts, even if we had played defense to offense and called timeouts and put an offense player down, call timeout and put a defense, we need to put some kind of defensive lineup out there to get stops at the end of the game when we're up with 36 seconds left, and that we got to make sure they score less than 6 points in 36 seconds. We need to get some defensive people out there that can get some defensive stops. There's one thing that I said I'd say in a minute how we managed to win this game. I'll tell you how we managed it. We had too many turnovers. We had a bad process. We had some bad defensive lineups, but overall we played pretty good defense. How did we win this game? We won this game simply because Devin Booker got hurt. Hate to be that way. Love the Hawks. Love that. I've watched them since I was a kid. Love the Hawks ever since Pete Maravich. I've loved the Hawks, but we won tonight because Devin Booker was hurt. They were literally running us off the court when he got hurt, and that changed everything for them. Within the next few minutes, they were down by as much as they'd been ahead because they had a hard time finding offense after he went out. And we started defending better. Well, the reason we started defending better, part of it is because they couldn't find offense. So understand why I said all that. Of course, it's a win. Of course, it's a great win. We want to be winning games. We want to get closer to 500. We want to get where we're in a better position for the playoffs and all that kind of stuff. We want to do all that, but we've got to be honest with ourselves. And being honest with ourselves means this: we would have lost this game if he didn't get hurt because we turned the ball over too much and our process on offense was not good enough, and we played some lineups that could not get stops because we had more than one mediocre to bad defender on the floor at the same time. You can't hide those people when you put more than one of them on the floor at the same time. So that's a little bit of a background about the game tonight. Now let's look at the individual players. We'll start with Veet. Veet played 5 minutes. Now, the other night I made the statement. I said, if he doesn't start playing better, he doesn't start shooting better, he doesn't start giving us more of whatever it is he's going to have to give us to play, then his minutes are going to go away. Tonight was 5 minutes. He went from starting a few games ago to playing 5 minutes tonight. If he doesn't start showing some things in the minutes he has and playing a little better that he has been in these last few games, we won't be giving him in the player profile because he won't be out there. He'll be did not play coach's decision because he's going to lose his minutes. But he played 5 minutes. He literally, his whole thing, his whole stat line, 1 assist. 1 assist. Now, he was +5. I'm going to tell you a secret. If you're out there 5 minutes, you get 1 assist in cardio, then the other guys you're playing with are why you're +5. Because there's no reason on earth you'd be +5 if all you had was 1 assist and ran it down the court. Somebody was playing some defense. Somebody was scoring some baskets, and he ended up +5. Now, Mo gave 9 minutes. Now, with Zach hurt, Mo can't play just 9 minutes. He can't do that. We got to play him more. And I understand he had 1 point, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. He was -8. Now, it looks like he was playing. What's the matter with Mo? Was he not playing great defense? Why was he -8? Because his minutes were all with those Kennard McCollum lineups. It's like Russell talks about when he says it's a Mo save us lineup. We put some bad defenders out there and say, well, Mo will clean everything up. Well, you can't clean everything up. It's like I said, they'll just stay away from you and go score against those guys they're going to score against. So he's -8, but he's playing in lineups where he didn't have a chance to do much better than that. And then Koloko played 12 minutes, 2 points, one rebound, 2 turnovers, 2 blocks, and he was -5. I thought he played pretty well. I think he's been a real presence out there. I love the way he defends the paint. It's almost like he is mad at them for trying to score against the rim on him, because now he's not going to be one of these guys that chases on the perimeter. He has a difficult time playing up to touch. I understand that, but he defends that paint, and he will not let you get a clean shot inside the cylinder and getting the ball up. Defends that rim. He loves it. I love the way he does that. So he was fine tonight. It was very good. Now, Kennard played 23 minutes, had 9 points, 3 of 4 from 3, and that was his shots. You got to shoot more. My goodness, purest shooter. It's just beautiful. When it leaves his hand, it's just like poetry in the air, and it goes to the basket, but it doesn't leave his hand enough. He's got to shoot more. He's got to do that. But he did have 6 rebounds and 4 assists and only 2 turnovers. See how he's moving the ball? It's very good. He had 1 steal. He was also -5. And like I said, he was in those McCollum lineups with him on defense, and it affected Mo's plus minus. It affected his plus minus. But if he would shoot more. See, the problem is when he doesn't shoot, he like 3 out of 4. That's beautiful. But 9 points. But his offense was 5 points from being good enough to offset his defense because he didn't shoot enough. And he's got to shoot enough to offset that defensive liability for him to be as valuable as he can be to our team. And of course, we want him as valuable as he can be because we want to win basketball games. Now, C.J. McCollum, and I've been hard on him, and here's why. It's very important that we understand this. He played 29 minutes. He had 21 points. You said, oh man, that's fantastic. Yeah, well, he was 9 for 15 from the field. Decent efficiency. 2 for 4 from 3. He had 4 rebounds, 0 assists. He played lead guard for a lot of the time for 29 minutes and had no assists and 2 turnovers. I don't know if he can't pass the ball or if he won't pass the ball, but a man who plays 29% with high usage and has 0 assists and 2 turnovers, it's very difficult to overcome from that. Like I said, here's the problem. He had 21 points, and he was -6. So scoring 21 points, he did not have enough offense to make up for how poor he plays on defense. Like I said, he's every bit as bad a defender as Trey. And I think Trey's got him beat on the defensive end, truth about it. Because he is not offensively gifted enough to make up for being that bad on defense. And part of that reason is because he won't pass the ball or can't pass the ball. Which one it is? 0 assists. I want you to hear that now. 0, none, no assists. 29 minutes. Scored 21. And Bob and Dominic go, well, he's really hot. He's got it going. Look at this. Look at that. -6. Now, in the box score, it may look like he scored 21. Great. We lost his minutes while he was in there because he won't pass and he can't play defense. And those things have got to change. If he's going to continue to play this many minutes, he's got to share the ball and he has got to play defense, or we got to play him with no other bad defenders and put 4 good defenders with him to help cover him up on it. We got to do something. Either got to do something in the coaching aspect of it, or he's got to do something in the playing aspect of it. But if he's going to continue to play, he's got to beat that. You can't score 21 points and lose your minutes. That's just ridiculous, especially for a bench player. Bench player scores 21 off the bench. Well, he ought to be plus 14 or 15. C.J. McCollum scores 21 off the bench. He's -6. And that's just the truth. You know, my dad used to say, truth will stand when the world's on fire. And that's just the truth. It's just the truth. Now the starters. Kispert, 15 minutes, 8 points, 3 of 8 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3. He had 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 turnover. He is +4. Now, when we got him, everybody talked about what a bad defender he was. Now, he's not an elite defender. He's league average, maybe. He's not bad. He gives effort on, and he's thick, and he's strong, and he's tough. And those are things that are very important. And we won his minutes tonight. Then Dyson Daniels, 37 minutes, 8 points, 4 of 6 shooting, had a better shooting night. 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 turnover. But let me tell you what defense does for you. And this is something we need to take a note and we learn. He was plus 22. 22. Now, it's amazing to me. He scored 8 points and was plus 22. C.J. McCollum scored 21 points and was minus 6. Now, you don't have to say any more than that. That's how bad he is on defense. That's how good Dyson is on defense. That's a beautiful stat line. Now, Naw, 33 minutes, 13 points, 4 of 12 shooting 2 of 5 3. Now, he did hit all three free throws, but here's the problem. 12 shots for 13 points is not efficient enough. The other problem he had tonight, he had 3 assists, but he had 5 turnovers. So he had 5 turnovers and was 4 for 12 shooting. Now he played great defense. 2 steals, 1 block, plus 1. As badly as he played on offense with bad efficiency, 5 turnovers, he still managed to win his minutes because he played defense. Again, I go back, and I know I sound like a broken record, but it's just on my mind because it's the truth. C.J. McCollum scores 21. They're on the TV. It's going on about what a great offensive night he's had. He loses his minutes by 6. Naw wins his minutes by 1, even though he by all the numbers was not very good at all on offense. Now, Onyeka Okongwu, 36 minutes, 25 points, 9 of 15, he's 3 of 5 from 3. He had 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 turnovers, 2 steals, and was plus 12. You know, it's amazing to me how much better Onyeka plays when his size is not at such a disadvantage. Now, I know they have the Williams is 7'1" and all that, but he doesn't make Onyeka work to do things like a lot of these big guys do. So understand, Onyeka, when he is not just, like I said the other night, when he's not a velociraptor on top of a T-Rex trying to bite his ear, when he's not having to play like that, he can have a much better night. This is a pretty good night for him. 9 of 15, 20, that's pretty much efficient. He had 5 assists, he had 2 steals, plus 12. I think he played pretty well tonight, he really did. And then Jalen Johnson, 39 minutes, 23 points. The only thing I'll say about Jalen scoring, he gets on my nerves sometimes. He'll be sitting there with Gillespie in front of him, and I'm going, go to the basket, he's a foot shorter than you are, go, 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 go. And he'll pass the ball off. He still needs to be a bit more, just a little more aggressive. He needs to do that. But he did have 23 points. He was 10 out of 18 shooting, 1 of 3 from 3, but he missed 3 free throws. He's only 2 out of 5 from the free throw line. You know, he started the year really just dynamically good, boom, 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 boom on his free throws. And lately it's been kind of, maybe he needs to get in the gym and shoot a few, you know, that kind of thing. 18 rebounds, which tied a career high for him, and he's just getting started good. His career high is not going to stay at 18 for very long. He is the best defensive rebounder in the whole NBA, and he is a fantastic rebounder on a team that doesn't rebound very well. So we really need that rebounding, and thank goodness for that. He had 9 assists, but you know, he was hunting that 10th assist a couple of times, and I got a little upset with him for that. But I thought he had this thing locked up. I figured that assist would just come and just be part of it, but he didn't get it. Not only 9 assists, but the 23-point, 18 rebound, 9 assists night. Now, he did have 5 turnovers, and as I said, he missed those 3 free throws, and that really just hurts me in the pit of my stomach when they don't hit free throws because they call them free for a reason. It's the only time on the whole basketball court. Now, you may get an open shot because somebody didn't rotate fast enough, but the only time that you are completely undefended is at the free throw line. And you need to be able to hit those free throws. But even with that, with 5 turnovers and missing the free throws, he was plus 15 because we need Jalen to be Jalen. And that's what I'm talking about, going back in to McCollum. Jalen needs to be the one the ball's running through. Dyson needs to be the one the ball's running through. CJ needs to be off the ball, catch and shoot, slashing, drive, doing that kind of thing, and being protected on defense. Now, if we can get that of him, he can be Vinnie Johnson off the bench with a microwave instant offense. That's fantastic. If we can protect him on defense and he doesn't get too ball-centered and just want the ball all the time and net pass the ball, we just can't have that. But a good win, a home win, 2 in a row, which is better than having a losing streak. But you know, last time we had a losing streak, won a couple of games, had another losing streak. So what I want us to do is to try our best not to have that losing streak again. And remember, let's don't get too big for our britches, because if Booker played the whole game, I'm convinced we lose. So understand that that bad process, those turnovers, will come back and bite us against a team that's got their full complement of people. But the next game we have is Monday, and it's against the Indiana Pacers. And last time I saw, the Pacers were giving Oklahoma City all they wanted. I don't know how that game ended up, but the Pacers have been, without Halliburton, they're having a hard time. They really are. Pretty good basketball team when he's there, but without him, they've been struggling. So this should be a win. This should be a game where we can continue to do this. I hope we lean into our defense. Hope we lean into our size a little bit. Maybe play that three big lineup where you got three guys that are about 7 feet tall, all in there at the same time. That would be extremely nice because it's better than a two game winning streak, a 3-1. That's what's better. So that's what we'd like to have in that game coming up. And of course, as always, either Russell or myself, will be here right after the game is over. Now, please remember to like and subscribe and comment and all those things and all those platforms that he's on and all that. I'm not very technologically savvy, but I know there's some platforms out there, and I know that there's some he's on them. So I know that. And so please subscribe and like and all those things. And the most important thing, life's too short not to. I hope you have a good day.